Hello. Hello. Right. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. So today, let's see. It says joy is essential, or joy is not essential. It is frivolous, and it's just nice to have. And this is what I'm saying, that joy is survival. Joy isn't some silly thing that we have to just kind of tack on to our lives. It is life. It's what makes us feel alive. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Joy can be as simple as like putting a star sticker on your face or playing with a silly toy that makes you smile. So, welcome to today's live call on joy not being frivolous. Whether you have done the 1 minute challenge yet, or you're just popping in today, I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome. And if you're watching the replay, good on you. Good on you for prioritizing yourself and your happiness. So tell me how you're feeling today. Let's use one word to describe how you're feeling. I'm feeling energized, I think, and calm at the same time. That's a good feeling. So we've been taught that joy is frivolous. We've been taught a lot of things. Yes, we are live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and we're live on Instagram. So if anything ever doesn't work for you, come on over to the other platforms. So we've been taught that joy is frivolous, that it's a bonus, that it's a treat if we behave, if we work hard enough, if we suffer long enough. But it's here for our survival. Joy regulates your nervous system. It does. Yeah, it does. And joy resets your stress. Joy gives you stamina to care about other people. When you choose joy, you are wearing the superhero cape of sustainability for your life, for your longevity, for your productivity, for your caring of other people. And when we consistently add happiness habits into our lives, when we make time for ourselves to feel good, to embody joy, burnout doesn't really stand a chance. Burnout is such a response to us not making time for ourselves, especially ways that make us happy. Joy also isn't about ignoring hard things. It's about creating enough light, energy, enjoyment to keep moving through them, to deal with them. So tell me in the chat something happy that you've done for yourself today, a joyful thing that you've done, even if it felt silly. And maybe if it wasn't today, it was in the past week. Hello. Okay, so embodiment is just like a fancy word for being present in your body while you're doing something that feels good. That's really all it is. That's all you need to know. It doesn't require yoga retreats or hypnotic trances. It can be as simple as going outside and watching birds fly around from one tree to the other. The other day, I was with my friend at a stoplight and we looked over and there was this robin. And it reminded me of this time because he just wasn't moving. Sometimes I swear that like robins are just very stubborn. And it reminded me of this time that Matt and I were at a park having a picnic and there was this robin that we could see. And he was just sitting there and he was just walking around. And I was thinking about how he could fly and he was choosing not to fly. And I named him Rodney, Rodney the Robin. And now every time I see a bird kind of doing something defiant, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. You have wings and you're choosing not to fly. That's quite a flex. That's something that made me happy this week, remembering Rodney. Feeling good is something that only you know when it's happening. You don't always know until it happens, like an orgasm. But when it happens, you know. When you feel good, you know. And because of that, why would we ever listen to someone else telling us what we're supposed to do, what will feel good for us? Any of that. It doesn't make any sense. So, speaking of knowing when it happens, let's talk about sensuality. So, let's see, sensuality. It's not necessarily sexual. It's about savoring life slowly, like closing your eyes to feel someone kiss you or letting your body melt into a massage chair. What is good enough for you to close your eyes and savor? When's the last time that you did something that felt so good that you wanted to close your eyes and really feel it and remember it? Think about that. Think about the last time that you closed your eyes, something that made you say, or ah. And tell me something that lights you up inside. When do you feel the most alive? Mm, okay, wonderful. So, our culture really values and loves productivity, right? But it's terrified of frivolity, being frivolous. And I rule in favor of the frivolous. There are holidays now for almost everything: poetry, dogs, scarves, you name it. And I love that. That was something that I found unusual holidays when I first started kind of challenging my depression and all my symptoms of OCD. That kind of got me out of a funk. It gave me a reason to use supplies, to not hoard them. It gave me something to look forward to. And now I love that 10 years later, well, more than 15 years later, they're so integrated into our culture. You see things on social media like Happy Unicorn Day, and sometimes it's for promotion, but I think one of the great things is that it reminds you about little things that you can still do, that you can enjoy, maybe things that you've forgotten about. These unusual holidays remind us to celebrate, to experience our lives. And in the Merriment Makers, I have this whole list of like 90 missions where they're inspired by unusual holidays. And then we take those and I teach about them, but we go in really deep about like if we're looking into kaleidoscopes. I teach the history of that. There's a workbook, there's trivia and facts, and then there's like a kindness mission inspired by that, and all these printables and mood boards and downloads and things. And that's available in the Merriment Makers called Operation Merriment. And then when recently I decided we need to take this on the road. We need to be doing this in person. So I started hosting Operation Merriment in person, and we're doing something to celebrate life and to spread joy to strangers. So, like last month, we met up and we wrote down a bunch of compliments, and we did them on like colorful paper and decorated them. And then we went out and we posted them on poles and we handed them to strangers and we slid them into the books at the Cathedral Street large, beautiful Enoch Pratt Library. So maybe one day you'll check out a book there and you'll see a wonderful compliment in there. And it was inspired by Compliment Day, which I believe is March 1st. So I want you to not wait for permission to do something weird, wonderful, or celebratory, celebrating what you love just because you love it. Let's do that. I feel alive when I'm outdoors, gardening, eating, enjoying the arts and the community. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And how often are we making time for those things, right? Is that something that is scheduled on your calendar the same way that you're scheduling work and appointments and errands? Or is that just supposed to be something that we do once all that's done? What if we thought about how if we feel good, we do good? It's all connected. It doesn't need to be interpreted as narcissistic or selfish. If you could make up your own holiday, what would it be? I want to know. Actually, March 26th is make up your own holiday day, and I love that. This is just a duck that like walks and waddles as he goes, and he's wearing a top hat, and I think that's excellent. Let's talk about frivolousness. It doesn't get enough respect, the frivolous. The world tells us that if something doesn't contribute to our basic needs for survival, or fatten our wallets, or is used to create productivity and progress in some way, that it is worthless, that it's pointless. It's not worth our time. It's not worth our energy. It's not worth celebrating, making time for, or scheduling. And I want to argue the opposite. The frivolous is not something that we can dispose of. The frivolous is essential. And it's not just essential for our fun, but for our humanity as individuals and as a collective. We think that everything needs this practical purpose to feed us, to house us, to move us forward in a career. But what about what moves us forward? Our souls, our spirits, our joy. I saw this meme recently that said, childhood erasers are proof that you don't need to function properly to still be loved and valued. And like, let that land. I love that so much. Those little erasers, the novelty ones that are shaped like things, strawberries, tiny ice cream cones, they didn't really erase well, did they? Or we didn't even want to use them because they were so cute. They left the smudges though, they fell apart, and yet we wanted them. They're so cute. There's a part of us that still really wants that. Like a giant dum dum lollipop. Inside of here, there are other lollipops, but I will never eat them because I like this one more. I like the packaging of it. I think it's fantastic. But why do we want them? Why is it? Because they make us smile, because they were cute, because they were colorful, because they were frivolous. We love them though, not for what they could actually do, but for how they made us feel. And this is a lesson that your joy doesn't have to perform to be worthy. And you understand that that means you as well. You don't need to perform to be worthy. You don't have to have function in every aspect of your life for you to matter, to have value, to contribute. And the real kicker is that embracing your so-called frivolousness isn't just this fun and rebellious act. It's also one of the smartest things that you can do for your health and contribute to the world. When you feel good, you do good. Say it with me. When I feel good, I do good. And joy doesn't need to produce. It doesn't need to explain itself. It doesn't need to disclaim. It doesn't need to fill out a W-2 form to justify its existence. Can you think of something silly or useless or frivolous that you just love or that you used to love and maybe haven't continued to make time for? I'd love to know and celebrate it with you. Lori says, when I was a kid, I got that frivolous feedback from somewhere about my career goals. Meaning that the career that you had chosen wasn't helpful enough, productive enough, or it was like the pathway that you were choosing was frivolous. That's interesting. Yes. Even that, even when it's under the container of productivity and hustle culture and making money, we still are told that's not good enough. You have selected a job that will not matter. Your degree, your master's program, your major isn't good enough. Why are you doing that? And there are some reasons behind, considering certain decisions, right? Like, am I going to be able to use this to find a job if that's the intent? However, what if what if it does work out? And what if we're just here to learn and experience? And listen, a lot of productivity culture really would have you believe that the only value you have is the value that you produce for someone else. The frivolous must be celebrated. We think everything has to have a purpose. And if it doesn't, it's not worthy, but it is. And so are you. And this is backed by science as well, because this isn't just a good vibe, it's proven. So neuroscience shows us that positive emotions activate your brain's reward center, like the dopo, dopamine ergic. Oh God, I can never say this. Dopaminergic system, your dopamine system. And dopamine is one of the things that we call a feel-good chemical, the feel-good neurotransmitter. But it's not just about pleasure. It actually boosts our motivation, our learning, our creativity. And the point of this connection is that when you do something frivolous, like playing or tossing glitter or wearing a star sticker on your face or waving around and quacking a rubber duck, you're not wasting time. Isn't that what we're scared of? Time is one of the only things that we can't renew or get back. We're only losing it. We are all on a sand timer. And I think that we're worried that if we don't make time for things that are only productive, money making, or in line with systems that are considered to be professional, appropriate, adult, that it is a waste of time. And where are we hearing that from? Where is that coming from? Where is that message coming from? You are lighting your brain's ability to innovate, to solve problems and connect with others. I don't see how that's a waste of time. How by spreading your own joy, by living how you want to live, it gives other people a permission to do what they want to do. Barbara Fredrickson is a leading positive psychological researcher, and she calls this whole thing a broaden and build theory. So basically, positive emotions broaden our awareness and they build our resilience over time. And we all know that we need resilience. It's not the only thing that we need, but there is a balance of the good and the bad, the light and the dark. And we know that adversity is going to come. So one of the ways that we can kind of build up our resilient reserves is through making time for ourselves, self-care through joy, self-care through the embodiment of silly practices. In other words, like more the more joy you let in, the more resources you create inside of yourself, psychologically, emotionally, mentally, physically. And here's a fun fact. People who are experiencing positive emotions show improved cardiovascular health, lower cortisol levels, and stronger immune responses. So you are actually making your body stronger when you're happy. Drop a heart emoji in the chat if that's something that you needed to hear today, or if you just believe in it. And it doesn't stop there. Joy makes you more compassionate. Studies show that people who are experiencing positive emotions are more likely to engage in pro-social behavior. And that means like helping other people, donating, volunteering, spreading kindness. So again, when you feel good, you do good. Joy is not selfish. Joy is a service. It starts with you. It starts in your body, in your own moment of pleasure and lightness. And then it expands out. It ripples. Joy is contagious because, again, when we feel good, we do good. And it's also okay just to feel good. And when you dare to embrace your so-called frivolousness, your frivolity, which is such a fun word, frivolity. It's a frivolous word. Even the word frivolous is silly. You give permission to everyone around you to do the same. When I dress crazy, people are like, where are you going? Is it your birthday? Do you know how many times I get wished happy birthday? Because the hardcore assumption is that you should only be doing something colorful, extra, bright, fantastic, interesting, extra. when there is a hallmark moment to celebrate. And this is not true. Every day is worthy of celebration. There I am. Yes, I am. Enjoy cooking. Oh. So next time you see something small or silly that doesn't really serve a purpose, who cares? Let yourself smile. Don't brush it off. Embrace it. Celebrate it. Go back. Get a picture. Go experience it. Go touch it. Go feel it with your senses. What's wrong with that? There is no such thing really as wasting time as long as it makes you feel good and it's aligned with your values. It's seeding your capacity to show up better for yourself, for the community, for the world. The frivolous is functional. The frivolous is freedom. And the frivolous is fuel. What's something frivolous that you've done this week? Tell me. Declare it like you're shouting it. Like, fuck yeah. I I wore a weird thing. I put my hair in tiny pigtails. I stopped and literally smelled a flower. I played with a toy. I put my stuffed animals up. I don't know. It doesn't have to be childlike. It can be. And that's a big part of our lives that we have kind of decided doesn't have a purpose, that anything childlike does not have a function anymore because you need to grow up. But why can't being grown up live in tandem on the same bike as enjoyment, as childlike behavior, as frivolity? Why can't we have both? You can have your cake and eat it too with these things. You can be a responsible adult with values and kindness and do what you want. Go play in a ball pit. Have fun, blow bubbles, wear whatever you want. It doesn't matter. There's so many ways to be frivolous. So now hopefully you're seeing the perspective or the argument of frivolousness being a secret superpower, like how your weirdness is your superpower. It's the same thing. Isn't embracing your weird frivolous potentially? So let's move into like, how can we embody that? How can we put that in our bodies? How can we walk the talk of our own frivolity? How can we incorporate and integrate play, pleasure, frivolousness, fun into your daily life? Because it's not just enough to think about stuff like this, not enough to think about the joy. We have to feel it in our bodies. Otherwise, it doesn't do anything. These positive experiences that I'm talking about being backed by psychological research and how they have an effect on you will not work. They won't come if you don't feel it. You can do a bunch of things, and if you're not present for them, it won't really have an effect on you psychologically or physiologically. Every day at work, I use childlike joy to spread joy. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, let's do a little 1 minute joy reset together. Look around the room and name 3 things that can make you smile. And it's not about gratitude, it's not about perspective. It's just like, what is it here that I like for the sake of it, that I enjoy? And if you're in a space where you can't find anything that makes you smile, that's a call to action. How can you incorporate or create more things in your physical environment that make you happy? It has a real impact on you. Yes. Oh. So name the 3 things that you see in the room. I'm overwhelmed by things. Like even behind me looking, I can see that like I love these new rainbow curtains. I love the smiley face. I love the balloons. And maybe we're sitting here being like, okay, well, those are all material things. Who cares? Who cares? What is good or bad? Why can't we let material things make us happy? Why do we have such a negative connotation with that? You can even shake it out a little bit, wiggle your body, and even notice more, or kind of put it into your body and be like, yeah, I love these things. I love these things. And I am glad, I'm proud to love these things. The color we have chosen for our kitchen, David's ceramic art, all the cooking we've done for Passover. Beautiful. Love it. Inhale and say, I don't have to earn my joy. I don't have to earn my joy. You don't have to earn your worth, your fun, your happiness. It's just here for you. And if you can notice stuff, material, nature, interactions, memories, experiences, and just say, it's again, it's not necessarily about gratitude or being like, oh, well, I'm glad that I have that. At least it's not like that. Da, 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 da. It's just like, I don't know why, but I really love sitting outside on my swing and drinking water while eating a root beer lollipop. I don't know what that is, but I love it. My yellow sock, monkey in a tutu, my bellhop teapot. Those are so fun. And hopefully, just by acknowledging the stuff that you see that makes you smile, or thinking even about stuff that isn't around you physically, but that does make you smile, just for the sake of it, hopefully that's activating you a little bit in this moment, just 1% more. Your dress matches mine. Fantastic. Are we rainbow twins? Uh-huh. So there's a bunch more 1 minute challenges in, that wasn't like an official 1 minute challenge, but there are 7. Tomorrow is the last one. We've been doing a 1 minute joy challenge inside the Positive Pulse. It's so cool. It's just less than 60 seconds of a video, and the thing that you need to do is 60 seconds too. And it's free. And the Positive Pulse is, I'm just really happy about that and building the community and having all of the things in one place. Like if you RSVP'd to come to this, it'll like pop up and give you a little notification if you allow it. And I think it's just another really fantastic way to integrate our happiness habits into our lives. You know, if you have someone else that's kind of curating challenges and injections of joy and stimulus of you remembering what to do, like allow me as a merriment maker, your resident merriment maker, to fulfill that role for you. The mechanic fixes your car, the merriment maker injects you with joy. You know, being disconnected from your body is a big part of this, I think. It's, we talk about so many things that are dangerous, but like smoking or loneliness or I don't know, sitting too long, but being disconnected from your body is also deeply dangerous. And screens and hustle culture and endless to-do lists, they keep us disconnected, numb even. And numbness can cut off the pain, but it also cuts off your pleasure. So when you're not just avoiding grief, you're not avoiding adversity. When you avoid things completely, including your own feelings, you're missing out on the good stuff too. So sometimes we try to do this in a way that is keeping us safe. We're like, well, I'm going to put up a guard. I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to do all these things because it's easier. I don't have to do that. So that means I'm not going to get anything bad. But when you put up a guard, when you put up a wall, a moat around you, you're keeping everything out. And that includes giggles and tingles and butterflies and experiences and exuberance. By not connecting with your body, by not allowing yourself to feel, by not engaging in your frivolosity, by not embracing your weirdness, you are choosing mediocrity, not safety. So come back to your body, even if it feels scary. Come back to your joy, even if it's accompanied by the realities of the world. Emotions only last 90 seconds if you really let yourself feel them. But if you keep pushing them away and avoiding them, it's just going to linger in the background. What waits for you on the other side of integration and connection is really worth it. And I promise you that you deserve your frivolousness too. Is there anything that you want to come back to your body this week? Is there one way that you want to engage your physical body, your senses, anything into your routine? Is there something that you're like, I'm not doing that enough that I would that lights up my soul? Not enough as it compares to anything else, but just like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about how I really love X, but when's the last time you made time for it? And how can you really feel it? Before we wrap up, I want to give you some journal prompts or affirmation things or, perspective shifts for you to consider thinking about integrating, contemplating over. So, what did you do as a kid that you were told was frivolous? What behaviors have you masked or hidden? What's a new rule that you want to create for yourself? What's a new standard, even? Want to get outdoors in the sun? Want to experience other art? I've been writing poetry daily. That's cool. Yeah. And isn't that interesting? Like we can even make time to do something every day, but it's like there's so much in us that loves life. There's so much passion that we need to do other ways to express ourselves. We need to express ourselves in other ways. Yes. And there's never going to be a way to fully have all the circles of your life wheel at a 10. Something has to give. It just does. But when we remember the things that we really want, that we enjoy, that bring us pleasure, we can kind of like reshift our schedule, our priorities to incorporate them. Another thing you can consider is what are you tempted, like, or who rather are you tempted to explain your joy to? How can you skip the explanation? How can you skip the disclaimer of, oh yeah, I really like that, but it's because this. I like that because it was something that happened when I was a kid, and my mom she did that, and I don't know. I don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. I whatever, like there's this like explanation guilt that's wrapped up in shame in the experience of our own pleasure because especially if it's not something that's modeled outwardly. If it's not something that people are talking about, that people are posting about, that people are demonstrating in media, then it's like, oh, well, that's way too weird. And there's no reason that you should do it. So if someone catches you doing it, you kind of need to explain. And what if you stopped explaining yourself? What about self-soothing? Like, is there a way that you self-soothe in your body that you really like? When did you trust someone else's answer instead of trusting your gut? And if you feel called about any of these, you can share them in the chat. And what I'll do is when I post the replay in the Positive Pulse, I'll include all of the journal prompts so you can catch them there if you want to come back. So again, your happiness, your life, your existence is not frivolous, it's necessary. And you are worthy of joy and frivolity today. Now, not tomorrow, not someday, not once you do XYZ. There's a difference between having priorities and pushing aside your own life so that you get everything else done for everyone else first. You matter. You really do. And if you love this, come join me for the 5-day reset. There's also a 30-day reset. There's so many cool things. And there's also bundles happening for April inside the Positive Pulse. So things are discounted. Pretty good. So you can get like 2 things at once for a very discounted price. And yeah, I don't know. Things like the 5-day reset are really fun. Like I mentioned, we're doing a 1 day, a minute challenge. So there's the 5-day reset is basically that, but just with 5 minutes. And the same thing for the 30-day reset. And they're all different and they're all backed by science. Keep your playfulness alive. Keep your fun alive. When's the last time you had a pixie stick? That was too much at once. I find myself explaining why I like religious holidays or folklore or astrology, any traditions. Yeah. Anything that's outside of like the norm, right? And all of you are weird. If you're following me, you're weird. You're not a norm. So why should you follow social norms? Weirdos need to have weird rules or no rules at all. Oh, that was way too much. That was way too much sugar. Mm. If you want pixie sticks, I have way too many. I bought them in bulk. Come to my house and get some pixie sticks. David and I both have our playfulness alive and encourage it in each other. That's so beautiful. What is it like? What a wonderful way to experience a relationship through embracing and celebrating someone else's playfulness, their child. And then you also get to experience other things, right? That maybe wasn't on your list, but being open to what other people enjoy. I love so much about hearing when people are really passionate about something, even if it's not something that I really care about. I love watching their face. I love hearing them talk. I love, like, when I go traveling, I love going to places where someone has dedicated their whole life to building this one thing that's so weird. That's so weird. It's like a bunch of neon signs in a yard, or got the Bunny Museum burned down in the fires, but that was a beautiful example of celebrating frivolousness and encouraging the partner. If you don't know about the Bunny Museum, it was in California, and this couple, it started like 20 or 30, probably 30 years ago, I think. And they started giving each other these gifts that were themed with rabbits and bunnies. And they challenged themselves to do it every day, every day forever, forever. So each day they were giving each other these gifts of bunnies. And then at a certain point, they had so much that they turned it into a museum. And it was fabulous. I got to be there. There were actual bunnies walking around. There were all these different categories, like for Bugs Bunny and Barbie Easter, and like anything that had a bunny on it was in there. It was an incredible mecca dedicated to play and frivolousness. And there are so many people who are like, that's a waste of time, that's a waste of money, that's a waste of materials, that's a da 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 da. So challenge the idea that things are frivolous being fun, that you're not frivolous, you're creative, that you're not frivolous, you're different, that you're not frivolous, you're enjoying life. And if you, yeah, I don't know, I'll see you in the next challenge. Don't forget that you can use this as an affirmation. I will not forsake my frivolousness. I will not forsake my frivolity. And come over to the Positive Pulse and let us know what's lighting you up. Go in the group, let us know. Let's keep this energy rolling. And yeah, I think that'll do it for today. I'm so proud of you for being here. And remember that if all you did this week was play or even just try, that's enough. I don't even mean try to play. I mean just try, right? So I'll see you in the next challenge. And our next live is going to be on people pleasing. But you can always join me on Mondays for Merriment Monday Live. And there's a new podcast every week. And all of these things are different. They're all different topics. So come on over to the Positive Pulse. It's free, uncustomary.org/positive-pulse. And don't just join, participate, just like you can in your life. There's a difference between being here and actively participating. And I am so grateful to be around people who do both. Okay. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Go outside and put the sun on your face. Go enjoy your folklore. Go create more creating in the kitchen. Go enjoy your partner and your friends and encourage them to play and challenge them to share it with you. Let's mess up the norms for the non-normals, for the abnormals. Let's encourage play in all the ways. All right. I love you, and I will see you